Hi everyone, I'm GREYMOND. I'm an OCD recovery coach with more than 10 years of experience helping people recover from OCD. Prior to that, I had severe OCD myself that I fully recovered from, and as do my clients. So if you wonder, can you fully recover from OCD? Absolutely, yes, you can. Today we're doing Q&A. First question. Hi Ali, I want to thank you for videos on YouTube. It helped me very much on my recovery. I'm recovering fifth month now. I don't have urgency to solve OCD themes anymore. I don't have anxiety. I don't do physical compulsions and mental OCD or pure OCD. I'm just disregarding at the moment when the thoughts come. So I do nothing instead of analyzing a little bit about recovery because sometimes I'm thinking about it if I did everything right in the recovery. And I don't want OCD about OCD, so it would be bad to somehow try to solve it, to solve the thoughts if I did recovery right or wrong. So may I just disregard the thoughts if I did the recovery right or wrong too? That's the first question. Second question, in what stage of recovery do you think I'm in? And the third question, and sometimes when I'm watching videos, not just yours, sometimes I'm confused that if I did recovery right, do you think I should stop watching these videos? And my last question, how would you describe fully recovered person? So it sounds to me like you are in the last stages of OCD recovery. So I would say maybe according to how I classified the stages, maybe like third stage. Basically, you're in the very last of it. And at the end, what I see all the time, I mean, not with every single person, but with, I would say, maybe 80% of the people, is this OCD about OCD. And I think this is the direction you're heading in. Try to distance yourself from anything OCD related. So you're distancing yourself from your original theme. You're not doing compulsions, you're not ruminating, but also distance yourself from the idea that you have OCD, right? Kind of moving into what would you do if you didn't have OCD? Start living your life as if OCD is not part of it. And that means not reading up on it, not really watching too many videos on it. When you're having a bad day, watch the videos, but really you should be now plugging back in fully into regular life. And I think this is the next step for you in all of this. So I would stop watching them, maybe kind of go to watching maybe like once a week or something like that. And uh what would be the last question, what would it look like to be fully recovered? So fully recovered is just that, fully, meaning that you don't have restrictions such as caffeine, meaning that you're not watching OCD videos, you're living life as if you would live life if OCD never entered your life. So that's what it means being fully recovered. In terms of anxiety, your anxiety level is the same as every other person who hasn't never had OCD. So, and that doesn't mean that it's always going to be zero, right? Because that's not true for anybody, but it's not higher than a person who's never experienced OCD. Next question. Hi, Ali. I just wanted to appreciate you for everything you've done so far. You've really helped me. I'm happy to help. I have religious OCD and I don't really have physical compulsions other than sometimes doing reassurance seeking. So I have PUREO OCD. How should I go about doing treatment ERP for this? Is there anything specific that I should do, being that I have religious OCD, or is it the same for all the themes? Thank you. Your videos have helped me a lot thus far in my recovery. So, with the so if you're doing reassurance seeking and ruminating, the amount of time that you're spending ruminating and asking for reassurance, which is pretty much the same, instead of doing the rumination in your mind, you're doing it with another person. Basically, it's the same. The more you're doing this, the more you're setting yourself back in OCD. So this is the compulsion that's keeping you trapped. So you need to reduce that rumination. It is the same as any other OCD theme. It's just content. It has nothing to do with religion in the real life, right? It's just OCD grabbed onto religion because religion is important to you. If something else was important to you, it would grab onto that. That's all. We just call it content. This is just OCD content. And the more you ruminate, the more you get into this content. It's kind of, you start to, and especially when you are asking people, depending on what they answer, then you ruminate more, right? So the exposure is when you get a thought and then you don't try to figure it out, or you delay to trying to figure it out, or maybe you, if you're not doing well, you figure it out but not all the way, leaving it at maybe 90%. So I've thought about it for a little bit, but now that's enough, I'm stopping, and then reducing that. I do recommend tracking the time. I have an app coming up, probably, I'm hoping very, very soon. I'm hoping within a week, that will help you do that. It is very important for you to understand how much did I feed OCD today, and then reduce that time, because that's what's keeping it alive. Your rumination is what's keeping it alive. So if you take that power source away, that's how OCD goes away. But it's one day at a time. You can't take it all away in one day. It's just one day less and less and less until it's nothing. That's because the brain has to adjust. Every time you're reducing rumination, it's difficult because the brain is used to you feeding the rumination, right? So every time you reduce, it is painful, but it has to be in doable chunks, right? Next question. Hi, Ali. I was wondering if you have any tips specifically for gender identity or transgender theme OCD. I have been struggling with this for a while now. My therapist says it's OCD, but it feels so real. Have you seen this theme before? I have seen this theme so many times. And again, you have to look at it as content. This is not about gender. This is not about deeper issues. This is literally OCD grabbed onto something and started to get you on it. Why did it grab onto this theme? Because when you had this thought, the thought shocked you, surprised you, made a big impact on you, let's say, right? And because you reacted like that, the thought came back, and then you reacted that way again. And this is not different from if, say, two people got harm OCD thought, right? One person said, nah, whatever, I wouldn't do that. And they just moved on and they didn't get into the guilt and shame and all of this. And then the person who's about to develop OCD said, oh, but how would it be? But what would this mean? You know, they started to really spin this, right? And because they started to really spin this, the thought stuck, right? So you just have to say, nope, that's OCD. I'm disregarding. And again, cut down the time that you're ruminating. Don't research online. Don't ask people. Don't get into the childhood or any content. Literally, to recover from any OCD theme, you have to be giving it as little energy as possible, ideally zero, or going down to zero, right? So anytime you are debating this topic in your mind, you're making this worse. So you absolutely can't. You have to be like, I'm not doing this. Let the thought be there, and it is going to feel extremely real. That's everybody with OCD. Everybody says the same thing, but it feels very real. It's the same when I had OCD as well, that it felt very real. So you have to look at it, well, feels real, must be OCD, and we're choosing to disregard. Next question is, hi, Ali. Thank you for all your help. I'm still struggling. I have still checking obsessively on my theme that feels very real. And I'm going already on almost 5 years. Despite clear evidence that I discovered on my theme, I would assume I would be finally getting certainty. But as usual, there's still doubt and what ifs. I still check on my theme, losing my family, checking what does this comment mean, analyze, and I go back on comment on what was said years past, despite me getting sufficient evidence that there's nothing to worry about. I now find myself to check on my mailbox as well, waiting maybe I will get some bad news with anxiety pertaining to my theme. I feel that what ifs have escalated to another level. Please help, Ali. I had given up not checking like 5 6 months, but intrusive thoughts got the best of me and I gave in. I feel like I'm back to square one. Please help. So, okay, what I would do is write out every compulsion that you're doing. So, physical compulsions like checking the mailbox, this, that, okay? Um, Also, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but guys, I'm telling you, from the bottom of my heart, this works. I would not be pressing you so much on this if it didn't work. But I'm telling you, it's like, for me, it's kind of like I know the secret and I'm trying to tell you the secret to how to recover because I don't want you to suffer. But people are like, ah, but tracking the time is so annoying. It's like, but no, you don't understand. It works. It really does work. So track how much time you're ruminating on this. Anything to do with this theme in any way. And when you're tracking the time, in 3 hour increments, right? Track the time with the intent of reducing. A lot of the times people make a mistake when they're like, well, I'm tracking it. I know how much I'm ruminating. So what? Well, so what is that you have to reduce little by little. So if today was, say, 400 minutes of rumination, by the end of the week, try to get to 300 minutes of rumination, or at least somewhere in that ballpark, right? So you're reducing this power that you're giving to OCD. At the same time, with physical compulsions, try to reduce or delay physical compulsions. So, say going to the mailbox, you can still go to the mailbox because reducing it all, kind of getting rid of it all at once, is probably too difficult. But maybe kind of doing it less often, or less often would be probably the best idea. So finding ways to do less in all situations, and little by little you will get past this. That's how you have to do this. And in your case specifically, what set you back? You kind of gave up and stopped doing the recovery work, and this is what I see a lot, is the accountability. Accountability in OCD recovery is absolutely the number one thing. It is difficult to even do little steps, but I find that if you compare doing a little step in recovery each day versus just staying on it each day, staying on it is much more difficult. If you make it for yourself like a job, that this is what I have to do every day, put notifications on your phone, that reminders on your phone, right? Put post-its everywhere. Make it a priority, that this is my number one priority. This is what I have to do to recover. If you take this very accountable, very methodical approach to it, I promise you, you will recover. But it has to be little steps, but absolutely every day. So you have to be strict with yourself about it. Next question, dear Ali. First of all, I would like to thank you for all your help. I appreciate that. I have already recovered from a few OCD themes completely. I can have the thought I used to have, and nothing is happening. I mean, I do not feel any anxiety or urgency to wash my hands. But my last theme is the hardest, and somehow I am not able to overcome it. I still suffer from harm OCD, having thoughts related to death. I really wouldn't hurt anyone, and I wouldn't literally, and it would literally kill me if someone dies. Hence, I don't understand why I'm getting these thoughts. To neutralize these thoughts, I need to wash my hands and everything I touched when I had the thought. I'm already in a state when I do not know whether this washing ritual is a compulsion or something truly meaningful. Also, sometimes when I am on my own, I have to say these thoughts loudly. Then the situation is even worse and my anxiety is huge. Again, I have to do all the washing ritual. Could you please advise on what to do in order to get rid of these thoughts completely, so I am sure nothing bad will happen, nobody will die? Thank you for your reply. So you're doing a lot of compulsions. So just basically same thing what I was saying in the last question. Write out everything that you're doing, and for every point, see what you can reduce. So, and when I say reduce, I mean just like a little reduction, like 10% less. So, say when you wash your hands, right? You can wash your hands, but less thoroughly. Or if you are, when you're washing your hands, if you have multiple rituals attached to washing hands, maybe reduce one of the rituals and then stabilize with that for a few days, then reduce another one. You are feeding it so much energy right now, and you're making it important in your mind. Because you're making it important in your mind, this thought is staying. So until you stop the rituals, this thought will not go away until you do that. There's no way for the thought to go away until you stop the rituals. It will get as weak or as strong as the rituals are. So basically, the rituals is the lifeline of this thought. the more you feed it, the stronger it grows. The less you feed it, the weaker it grows. The less louder it is in your mind, the less anxiety it's going to cause. So every time you're doing a ritual, put it through a filter of, do I need to do this considering this is making me worse? And sometimes you'll be like, yeah, I'm a 10 out of 10. I do need to do this. But a lot of the times you'll say, you know what, maybe I don't need to do it. I'm telling you right now, you don't need to do any of these rituals. Nothing bad is going to happen. And I know this is a little bit of reassurance, but start this as your starting point. Well, you can kind of blame me. You say, Ali said that this is not harmful, so now I have to stop. And start from this point reducing. Little by little, it will feel real, it will feel scary. That's normal. But if you just do a little something each day for each one of them, and like I'm saying, it's very, very small progression forward, that you don't have to take a big leap and like, oh, I'm not going to wash my hands anymore. Well, I mean, that would be great in theory, right? But in practice, that is very painful and cannot happen all in one day. So just do what you can and then go from there. Then the next step and the next step and the next step. And little by little, you dig yourself out of this. And another important thing is when you are reducing compulsions, your mind will try to create new ones in a different area. So that list that you're going to write, that is the final list. We're not adding more things to the list like new. Well, you can add things to the list if you remember something, but don't add things to the list that are brand new. Well, today I've developed this new compulsion because now we're kind of removing from one and adding to another, right? So it's no, I'm not adding anymore, and I am actively reducing these ones. And I'm telling you, you do this, I've done this a million times with clients. Do this, you will recover. I hope you find this Q&A helpful. Please ask more questions below this video. Again, guys, this is a paid Q&A. The reason why it's paid, it's only $5, but the reason why it's paid is because when I have it for free, I get hundreds of questions. I can't answer them, and then people are like, well, why didn't you answer my question? But the questions I answer, I don't even know if people, to be honest, are listening to for their own questions, because they're not really sometimes even subscribed to the channel. They don't really care. They just wrote it and left it. So that's why this is for people who actually care and actually need the answers. Thank you for watching. I will be back tomorrow with part 2 of the Q&A. Like I said, if you are a paid member of the channel, please leave these questions below. To become a paid member, please hit the join button. And if you would like to do one-on-one recovery with me, all the information, as always, is on youhaveocd.com, and you can book a session from there.